act like they love Jesus Christ because of fear. You fear what happens when you die, so you act like you love Jesus.
Is the fear of hell and judgment the main motivation for Christian beliefs and behaviors? Two things. One, no. Fear is not the universal reason for Christian beliefs and behaviors. Fear is not the universal reason that people choose to follow God or to follow Jesus. Two, fear is not an unreasonable reason to follow God or to follow Jesus. First, let's look at some of the other motivations someone might choose to follow God or to follow Jesus. Hebrews chapter 11 mentions faith as one of those motivations, as he lists people in the Old Testament who followed God out of faith and obeyed God out of faith. Hebrews 11:6 actually says that without faith, it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. Notice that they're coming to him because they believe he exists. They have faith. And notice that the focus here is on the rewards that God gives, not on the risks of hell and judgment. Peter adds hope to the list of motivations. In 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 15, he writes, "But in your hearts revere Christ as Lord. Always be prepared to give an answer to everyone who asks you to give the reason for the hope that you have." Hope and fear are not the same thing. And of course, we can add love to the list. If we read 1 John chapter 4, verses 16 through 19. And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment. Notice he doesn't say fear. He says confidence on the day of judgment. In this world, we are like Jesus. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. We love because he first loved us. And so you have people who follow God and follow Jesus because of faith, because of hope, and because of love. But there are other motivations, and fear is one of them. It's just not the universal reason for Christian beliefs and behaviors. It's also not an unreasonable reason. We often talk about fear like it's completely negative and a bad thing. But we know what really matters when it comes to fear is what you fear and how you respond to that fear. Mostly everybody fears something. Only the delusional and the dead don't fear anything at all. Only fools have no fear. Proverbs chapter 1 verse 7 says this: "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction." Think about this. I have a genuine fear for jumping out of an airplane that's flying at 1,000 feet without a parachute. My fear is once I make this choice, I'm going to change my mind on the way down. And even more, when I hit the ground, it's going to end pretty bad if I jump out of this plane flying at 1,000 feet without a parachute. If you were on this plane and someone on the plane told you to jump out of this plane and said to you, the only reason why you're not jumping out of this plane without a parachute is because of fear, would you jump? I wouldn't either. And it's not an unreasonable reason for me not to jump out of a plane without a parachute. It's because I believe that it's going to end badly. There are certain things that are real and should be real fears. What matters most is what you fear. How you feel about it, whether you fear it or not, does not determine whether it's real or fake. There's a real danger out there if I jump out of a plane at 1,000 feet without a parachute. So instead, even though I'm also afraid to jump out with a parachute, I jump with the parachute, trusting that the parachute is going to save me, which is one of the main reasons why people choose to follow Jesus, because they know that we're all gonna die, and they don't want to die without Jesus. And that's not an unreasonable motivation. It's not the universal only motivation, but for sure, it's not an unreasonable motivation, especially since Jesus said in Matthew chapter 10, verse 28, that we should not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell. You will have to decide for yourself whether to choose to follow God and follow Jesus and fear him, or let other people tell you what to and what not to fear. Whatever your motivation, faith, hope, love, or fear, if you choose God, if you choose Jesus, please don't let other people make you think that your choice and the motivations behind them are unreasonable.